Alright, we are up and running. Hello, Internet! I'm doing a thing, because the Internet's been doing the thing, and I technically did this off stream. I figured, you know what? I'm gonna redo it on stream, and I might just pick different stuff, because how I did it is by type going through the generations. Instead, we're gonna go through all the types per generation on stream. Yeah, this is a favorite Pokemon picker from Cajun Adventure, so this is through his GitHub and stuff. This is made the rounds. It just lets you pick your favorite Pokemon per type and per gen, and then some additional stuff down here, which we'll get to eventually. Yeah, we're gonna do this before we get to some Fortnite tonight. Why did it... Why did the bot tweet twice? Bot, you okay? Bot, are you okay? Bot, you didn't need a minute. But anywho, we're just gonna roll through this, and I'll talk about why some things are my favorite per type and per gen, and just roll from there. Anyway, we'll start with Gen 1. Normal types, okay. This is the fun part, figuring out which ones to pick. I think most people who do this, they pick just per Pokemon regardless. I kind of want to keep to evolutions, like within evolution trees. So if I pick, so for instance, like, I really love Pidgeot, and that's kind of just the whole Pidgey line, instead of just Pidgeot, so kind of how I'll differentiate mine, I guess. Normal types. The problem is what to pick as the normal type, because, like, yeah, you've got the Pidgey line, which is a favorite of mine, but that's... I feel like that would be my flying type choice when going to Gen 1. I don't really care for Rattata and Raticate. They're fine. Same with Spearow and Fearow, they're fine. Jigglies I like. Especially Jigglypuff, but because of the anime. Didn't mean to click that. Go. I kind of like Meowth, but I've never particularly cared for Persian. Farfetch is fun, just because it's Farfetch. Just this little bird friend with his stick, just ready to whack the shit out of you, regardless of if he's good enough to do it or not. The Dodrio, they're okay. Lookington's okay. Chansey's okay. I've always liked Kangaskhan. I've always had a soft spot for it, just because it's this Pokemon with its baby. Tauros is fine. Ditto! I've always just like, it's this thing I use for breeding, and that's kind of it. Eevee is just a wonderful little design. It's wonderful, and its branching evolutions are always pretty good. Oricon's neat, but I think I've always preferred its evolutions over it. And then Snorlax, yeah, he's a big fun friend. Excuse me. But honestly, I think of these... I might just go Eevee. I also say I will not double up on an evolution line if it's one through line. If it has split evolutions, I can pick between those split evolutions. Like, I can pick between all the different evolutions for types, but I can't pick, like, Pidgey, Pidgeotto, Pidgeot in the same for, like, 3 different choices, even though that's not possible. Anyway, fire types. I forgot Gen 1 has so many good fire types. You've got the Charizard line, you've got the Vulpix line, you've got the Growlithe line, you've got the Ponyta line. Magmar's okay. Flareon, probably not my favorite evolution out of the bunch. And then Moltres is really good, and I'm just like, these are too many good options. I feel like I gotta be boring and I gotta pick Charizard. Because honestly, it's my favorite of like the 4. And then I did not realize Gen 1 had so many fucking water types and partial water types, which is kind of the nutty part. Because bear in mind, this is all, as long as it has a water typing in it, whether it's just pure water or half water, it's up for pick in these categories, though. The Blastoise line, probably my favorite, my original favorite starter. I think... Yeah, I used to have, I think, a knockoff Blastoise plushie from, oh, what was the store called? Hop Dog or something? It was something dog. Because all their parody stuff was, like, dog-themed. Psyduck is fun as a character, but I don't really care for Golduck. The Poly line through Poliwrath is kind of a low-key favorite of mine, just because it's just small little tadpole friend that grows up big enough to punch the shit out of you. Tentacle and Tentacruel are neat. The Slows are neat. Seal and Dewdong are alright. Shelter and Cloyster are alright. Kind of I've come to appreciate Kingler and Krabby over the years, but they're kind of okay. I kind of like Horsey to Kingdra. Just because it's a little fish friend. Goldeen and Seeking, never been a particular favorite of mine. Staryu Army, I just like because of the sounds they make in the anime and in the games. Magikarp and Gyarados are always good choices. Lapras, Loki, one of my favorite Pokemon in Gen 1. It's just, I really adore Lapras. Vaporeon, another, like, okay evolution. I think I've preferred, like, later evolutions. And then our relics that aren't Aerodactyl, I'm like, those are fine. Like, Kabutos is alright as the big scythe-wielding friend, but I think I gotta go Blastoise. And then grass types. Look at all these grass types I don't care about that aren't honestly Venusaur, because I'm like, Oddish to Vileplume. That's, yeah. I think if it's a not starter, that's probably my choice, because I don't particularly care for the Pinsir line, the Bellsprout line, the Execute line, and Tangela. Electric types. I've always really liked Raichu, even though he doesn't get really featured at all because Pikachu's the mascot. I really like Raichu. Magnetons are okay. Voltorb and Electrode are okay. Kinda like Electabuzz. I think Jolteon is probably my favorite of the original trio of evolutions. And then Zapdos is pretty cool. So yeah, probably go Raichu. Ice! Ah, what to choose. Not you, not you. I never particularly care for Jinx. Articuno I really like. I think Articuno also is like my favorite of the original three birds. Before we get into the Ho-Oh-Lugia editions, but honestly, Lapras. I really like Lapras. Fighting types. It's probably gonna be my boy Primeape. I always like picking up Mankey Primeape whenever we do like Fire Red, Leaf Green stuff, because it's just right there at the start, and it's just like, oh hey, here's this cool little monkey friend that gets to get off the bat. That's fighting type. Because I've never really cared for the Machop line, and Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan are fine, but I've always preferred just big angry monkey. Poison. Oh god, there are so many poison types in Gen 1. I also often forget that Gastly to Gengar is poison type. I'm just like, oh yeah, they're ghosts. Wait, they're also poison. Why are they poison? Let's see. Alright, pick Venusaur, so that the Venusaur line, so that's out. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Honestly? Venonat, Venomoth. I kind of like that this little orb of fluff turns into a moth. And I kind of like Venomoth's design. Ground types. It's going to be Sand Slash. It's going to be Sand Sand Slash. I love these little guys. I love these adorable little mole friends. Because, like, the Nidos are okay. Diglett and Dugtrio are nice. The Geodude line is neat. Onix probably is my second. Like, Onix and Cubone, the Cubone line are my second and third. And then, like, Rhyhorn's probably fourth. But it's Sand Slash. Flyings. I already said Pidgeot's my favorite, so I'm like, well, who else would it be at this point? Because, like, we already picked Charizard. No, I'm sorry, Farfetch'd. No. We'll get to you in a minute. No. Aerodactyl maybe as a second. All the birds are neat, but I prefer other types to them. And then we'll talk about you in a minute. Psychic. I want to be not boring and pick something that's not Mewtwo. But I'm gonna be honest, there's not another good option for me. Because the Aberline's fine, but it's not really a Psychic type I've liked. Slowbro and no. Drowsy and Hypno, no. Executor, no. Starmie, no. Mr. Mime, no. Jinx, no. It's honestly Mewtwo and Mew, and Mewtwo's too much. I just love the look of Mewtwo armored up. Even though it's kind of a weaker version of Mewtwo, I still like the armored up version of Mewtwo, so that'll always stick with me. Bug. Honestly, it's probably Scyther. Because, like, I like the Caterpie line, and I like the Weedle line, but I just like Scyther as just this big fancy bug friend that just has bladed arms, that when he metallics up, he gets claws. Don't particularly care for the crab claws, but I still like Scizor as a concept. So, yeah, it's probably Scyther. We'll talk about Scizor later. Rock. Probably Onix? Yeah, it probably would be Onix out of this lot. Ghost. Kind of defaults to Gengar there, out of all honesty, because, like, we're doing full lines. It's the Gengar line. I like the Gengar line. Same with the Dragonite line, even though it's kind of our default option here. There's not really a Dark type in Gen 1. So I'm just gonna put missing now. And we don't really have an option for Steel type for Gen 1 besides, hey, the Magneton line got Steel types. I'm just gonna put regular old Magneton. Fairy! Honestly, this is where I would probably put the Jiggly line. I prefer them over the Clefairy line and Mr. Mime. Now, the hardest option. What the fuck to pick for starters? Because it's honestly between Charizard and Blastoise, and I go back and forth upon those two all the time. So we're not going to count Pikachu and Eevee in this conversation. We're going to go with the OG starters. And I'll be honest, I don't know. I like Charizard because he's Big Flaming Dragon, but I also like Blastoise because he is Big Turtle with big fuck you guns. And they both have their merits, and they both had cooler forms over the years. But I think, right now, in the moment, it's always Charizard, and it's always his shiny. Because I like my Big Black Dragon. Speaking of Big Black Dragon, hello Mega Charizard X. Because here's all of the Mega Evolutions to the G Maxes. And I'll be honest, it's always that Mega Charizard X that sticks with me. Why shiny? Kind of, because I think Mega Charizard has a shiny. Let's see, both BD help me out here. Where are... Yeah, there they are. Oh, whoop, that's zoomed in a lot. Thank you. But yeah, there's the shinies for X and the X and Y Mega Evolutions. And I kind of prefer Y's shiny over X's, because X's gets this kind of like bluish green. Don't kind of care for that, but I'm like, yes, it keeps the original black. It kind of lightens it up a little bit. Unfortunately, it doesn't keep the blue flames, because I like the blue flames on regular X. And then, oh yeah, G-Max Shiny Charizard also looks pretty good. Oh, yeah, there's the official arts and stuff. Thank you. From home, okay. So yeah, it's... Legendaries! Technically already picked Mewtwo. So I could pick something else for this. Technically. I wanted to. Even though I've already picked Charizard as starter and gimmick form. I think of these 5, it's always been Mewtwo. I think he's always been kind of the more iconic one, and I've always really loved Mewtwo's design. And finally, out of the favorites... I think it just has to be Charizard. Good old buddy Charizard. Alright, Gen 2. Wow, normal options in Gen 2 just weren't that good. Because I'm like, Cinderace, fine. Maybe Hoot Hoot and Noctowl? Because Igglybuff, eh. Apom, eh. Girafarig, eh. Dunsparce, eh. Teddiursa, Ursaring kind of is alright. Porygon 2, but I feel like Porygon 2 has kind of been for another type. Besides normal. Stantler, eh, there's another deer Pokemon that I like, and like Wordeer is kind of a better thing. I forget your name offhand. No, not Blissey. Honestly, probably knocked out of it there. Yeah, probably knocked out everything there. Fire types, There is a Cynical line, and I like the Cynical line, especially Quilava. Or not, it's not Quilava. No, it is Quilava. Quilava is the middle one, because it's Typhlosion is the last one. Slugma, Magmar are neat. Houndour and Houndoom are neat, but there's other dogs I like. Magby's fine. Entei's not my favorite of the 3 dogs, and Hodo's not my favorite of the pair. I'd probably be just boring and just be like, it's the Cynical line. Water types. As much as I like the Feraligatr line, and don't really care for everything else, it's Suicune. Suicune's my favorite dog of the bunch. Grass types. I forget Celebi is a grass type. I like Celebi. I like Little Fairy Friend that time travels all the time. It probably would be Celebi, because like Meganium's alright. Blossom's fine. As an alternative Oddish evolution, it's alright. Kind of. It feels weird that it's an alternative Oddish final evolution. A Hoppip line I don't really care for. I'm sorry, Jay-Witz. Because I know he adores Hoppip. Because I watch his stuff and his favorite's Hoppip. And then some Flora. No, it's Celebi, I guess. Electric. Hi, Pichu. How you doing? I technically already have a Pikachu option, so we're gonna... It'd probably be the Mareep one, because I like Ampharos at the end. It feels weird that it goes from Mareep to Ampharos. But it probably would be the Mareep line. Wow, ice types are just like Sneasel. Yeah, never been biggest fan of Sneasel. Same with the Piloswine line. Delibird. I like my Santa Bird. I love Santa Bird. this is so hard, because I'm just like... Of these three, it's honestly Heracross. But also a part of me is just like, I kind of like Beyblade Pokemon. Which is Hitmontop. Because I'm pretty sure bug types are... Yeah, it's Heracross and Scizor, and that's a really big choice. But technically I have to pick the Scyther line anyway. I guess Hitmontop. Talk about poison types. Boy howdy, do I not care for any of these four. There's a different spider that I prefer over these two. Quillfish is okay, but like... I guess Crobat? I kind of like Crobat. I don't particularly care for Friendship Evolution as a concept. I think it's always been kind of far too grindy and far too just takes forever. And it's easier to find an exploit to ram through Friendship Evolutions faster than it is to just do Friendship Evolutions the normal way. But I still like Crobat. I'm sorry, it's Dawn Fan. I'm just gonna be upfront right now. It's Dawn Fan. Like, Wooper and Quagsire, cool. I only really like those because of Tom Fox memes. Gligar, eh. Steelix, I technically have already picked because I picked Onyx. The Piloswine and stuff, eh. And then Larvitar is neat, but it's Dawn Fan because I love my tiny little blue little elephant friend that gets bigger and then becomes a rolling machine of death. Flying types. I forget what Lugia's other type is because I'm very tempted to pick it. Because we've already picked Noctowl. Like, Ladybuzz neat. We've already picked Crobat. Toge... Not Togekiss. It's Togetic. Eh. Never really voted for Natu, or the Hoppips, or the Yenma, or Honchkrow, or Gligar. We already picked Delibird. I don't really care for the Stingray Pokemon I can't remember the name of. Skarmory is about the only option in here besides Lugia. And I forget what Lugia's other type is. It is Psychic. So I guess... I was about to say, what are the other Steel options? Ah, I see. I guess... Ladybug? Because Psychic would go to Lugia. Because I'll be honest, there's not really any other Psychic options. Because Espeon's fine, but I prefer Umbreon, and I like it better. And I don't care for the Unknown, and none of these other options. Actually, no. You know what? It's Lugia, and then it's Wobbuffet. Because it's probably the best Team Rocket Pokemon that they've ever gotten. And then the bug type is... it's just the hard choice. Because it's either Scizor or Heracross. And I adore both of them. The problem is, if I don't choose Scizor, I didn't have to have the decision of it or Skarmory. You know what? We'll kick the can down the lane, because it's Heracross. Rock type. Sudowoodo is neat as a concept, but eh. Chuckle. Eh. Honestly, it's Tyranitar. And our only ghost option, Mischievous, and that's kind of it. And then our only dragon option is Kingdra. And then dark type, it's Umbreon. It's always Umbreon, because like the rest of these is just like, eh. That is my dark type. That'll always be my dark type. And now to kick the can, now we kicked the can down, now it's Scizor or Skarmory. And I feel like I preferred Scizor all the time more than Skarmory, because Skarmory is just like, hey, that's a cool bird. But, like, there's other birds I like, and I don't think I've ever used Skarmory that much. Honestly, out of 3, it's probably the Togepi line. And then of the 3 starters, it probably would be Typhlosion. And then of these megas, I don't like Heracross's Mega Evolution. I don't particularly care for Tyranitar's Mega Evolution. It probably would be Scissor's Mega Evolution. And then of the legends, it's a Suicune or a Lugia. I think I've always preferred Lugia. And then the favorite. Oh, bleh. My gut says Donphan just off the bat. Yeah, my gut says Donphan off the bat. Just following my gut sometimes. Alright, Gen 3, what do we got? None of these are saying that to me right off the bat. God damn it. Wow. Wow, Gen 3 normal types. Just nothing hits me. Not even the bird. Zigzagoon, probably. Just Zigzagoon in general. Yeah. And then fire types. Blaziken. Just big fire chicken. Unfortunately, it's like that first fire... Blaziken firefighting? Yep. Yeah. It's Blaziken. Oh, water types. Wow. Yeah, well, yeah, Gen 3 has a lot of water, so... there would be a lot of water types. I've kind of liked Swampert. Back in the day, my main pair was Swampert and Hariyama. Pelipper's kind of the bird I preferred for Gen 3. Wailord is just fun as just big whale Pokemon that is the weight of a balloon because it is the giant hot air balloon whale. I kind of have a soft spot for Crawfish in his evolution. Or Corphish. I kind of like this Spheal line. I would say of the 2 box arts for Ruby and Sapphire, Kyogre's my favorite. Favorite of those 2. Unfortunately, they're all on the same level, so... I think... honestly, Pelipper. We'll just pick Pelipper. I'm sure I'm gonna regret that when we get over the flying and... yeah, we'll get there. We'll make changes as necessary. Grass types, Sceptile's always been pretty good. Ludicolo's fine. Never really cared for Seedot's line. Shroomish, Balloon is kind of a neat little evolution design. I mass caught Roselia's to drop in all the gyms at my college for Pokemon Go. Just because I could. Torfish is neat, but I never really cared for him. I feel like I'd pick Sceptile. It's where it lies for me at the moment. Electric types. Let's see. Cool little dog lion friend, or one of the 2 Pikachu clones that are absolutely useless on their own. I believe the choice is obvious. Moving on. Ice types. You know, I've never really cared for the Reggies. They've never hit me quite that much. So, honestly, it'd probably be the Walrein line. And in the fighting types, it's easily Hariyama. I like the big sumo friend. Poisons! All these poison options that I've never really cared for. I guess the Viper, because I kind of like it more than Arbok as a snake design. And then ground types. It'd probably be Flygon. Yeah, it probably will be just Flygon. Because I've always liked this ground dragon friend. And how it goes from just chomp chomp little guy to kind of a flying bug to now I'm a proper flying bug. And then the flying type, this is where it comes. It's like, well, I probably should have picked Pelipper for this, and you know what? We're gonna swap that to Pelipper, and then we're gonna come back here, and we're gonna choose something else, and that is probably Kyogre. Psychics. Gardevoir, I've always liked Gardevoir, but I prefer Galde over Gardevoir. I've never really cared for anything else. Metacross line, sure. Latias I've liked as evolutions, but they've never hit me that hard. Honestly, it probably would be the Metagross line. And then Bugs. I've kind of liked Beautifly. Yeah, Beautifly. Rock. Ooh. I want to say Aggron. Because I don't care for Nosepass. Propass is kind of just a funny looking friend. Lindistone, Starrock, and Cardinally. I forget the other rock fossils. Recant now. That Reggie, yeah, it's honestly Aggron. The Aggron line. It'd probably be Sableye because I like this weird rock friend. Because I don't care for any of these other ghosts. And of the dragons, it's like, Rayquaza's cool. I forget that the Latis are actually dragon types. Salamence is also neat. Altaria is also neat. As just a different kind of dragon. You know what, Altaria? I often forget that Absol's dark type. And I really like Absol. It's low-key one of my favorites. My Hyena used to be my dog choice. Because it was dog enough, even though it's technically a hyena. It's dog adjacent. For me, at least. But honestly, since we've gotten Rockruff, I'm like, I've honestly preferred it as my dog of choice. But it would be Absol now. For like Gen 3. Oof, oof. I've let myself no steel options. No steel options I like. One second. Jirachi is steel type? I'm sorry. What's Jirachi's typing again? Steel the fuck are you steel for? Alright then. I'm trying to think if there's any other options for those two. You know what, Jirachi? Since you told me you're steel type, you get in there. That's fine. Galde. Or, not Galde, Gardevoir. Why did I say Galde? And of the starters... Blaziken. And of our Megas in primal forms, and... Well, it's still Mega for Rayquaza. I never liked Manectrix. Mega Blaziken doesn't do enough to differentiate it, which sucks to say. It kind of does some, but it doesn't do enough to differentiate it. It'd probably be Mega Metagross or Mega Absol. And I kind of like Mega Absol's like getting wings and stuff, kind of playing into its like Arbor or like Deliverer of Fate or like Warning of Fate and stuff. And then of the legendaries, Kyogre. And then favorite in general, that gen. Absol. We're gonna go Absol. Gen 4! The gen that got me back into Pokemon. Out of that Staraptor, Staraptor, yeah. It'd be Staraptor, easily. And then the fire types, because everything else is something like Bidoof is neat as just this little dumb beaver friend. Law Bunny's fine. The Happini's fine. Lemo's fine. Munchlax. I've kind of liked Munchlax, but not enough over Staraptor. There's Porygon Z. I think I would like Porygon Z for another type. And then fire type, it's Monferno, easily. Because I don't care for... I don't think I've ever really cared for the evolutions of the Gen 1 Kanto late game Pokemon. And then the Rotom, like, forms I've never cared for, and then I forget this thing's name, but no. Water types. Is there an option that isn't Empoleon in this? And I don't think there really is, unfortunately. Because I kind of like Weasel, but I don't like... Weasel, but I don't like its... don't particularly care for its evolution. I don't care for the Gastrons. I don't care for this little fish friend. I don't care for this thing. I don't care for the Rotom forms. I forget Palkia's water type. And I've never cared for Manthe and Fion. So, Empoleon it is. Now, there's two options here that would make me not choose the starter. In Tortuga. Not Tortuga. That's not your name. That's the other thing. What is your... Oh, well. It's honestly Leafeon and Shaman. I've always liked Leafeon's evolution, or the Leafeon evolution. And Shaman is one of my favorite mythics. Would I choose one of the... Honestly, I would probably choose Leafeon. It's Luxray. Because don't really care for a lot of the Rotom forms. Don't particularly care for Luxray. Magneton's fine as like an evolution of Magneton. Pachyrisu's okay as a Pikachu clone, but it's Big Lion Electric Friend in Luxray. Glaceon or Frostlass? Because the Bombastow's okay, but never really care for the Sneasel line. Mamoswine's And again, don't care for the Rotom forms. Frostlass or Glaceon? I kind of like Frostlass. And honestly, if we're going to pick a fighting type, it's Lucario. I'm boring in that respect, but it's Lucario. I always love Lucario. It's one of my favorite Pokemon. And poison types. Toxicroak? Toxicroak, because I don't care for the skunks or the scorpions, unfortunately. So it's Toxicroak. Ground type. I almost want to say Garchomp, but I'm like, there's no other options for Dragon, is there? Alright, it's all the legendaries. But again, when I'm like, favorite Dragon type from Gen 4, it's Garchomp. So I'm like, favorite ground type from Gen 4, him. You know what? I kind of like Gliscor. We'll kill Gliscor. And then flying types. I hate that I've already picked Staraptor, so I have to pick something else. And I'm like... You know what? Out of this bunch... It's Shaman. Because I believe Shaman is, yeah, he's grass flying, so like Shaman. I was about to say Chatot, but then I'm like, Shaman, right. Let's pick Shaman. Shaman's a better option. Psychic type, easily Galde out of this bunch. Just easily Galde. of the bugs. You know, I've liked this, what was it, Monmouth? I think it's Monmouth. I've always liked that one. I don't think I've ever really used it, but I kind of like its design. And of the steel types... You. I don't remember your name offhand. But I'm gonna go with you. I think it's Bastion, that's what it is. Ghost types. Let's see. The blimp one that steals children. Mr. Viss's evolution, which kind of is discounted because we've already... Or Miss Magius, because we've already picked Mr. Viss. Spare Tomb, which I don't care for, and I've never cared for its unlock conditions because they've always been bad. The Arceus one is bad. I'm sorry. And then it's called a Rotom, and then the Giratina. Honestly, it's the blimp, the ghost blimp. And then it's easily Garchomp for Dragon. And then of our dark types... I kind of want to pick Punchcrow. There's also Darkrai. Darkrai is also a really good mythic one. I'm gonna go with Punchcrow. And then steel types. What have I not chose out of this at this point? You. You know what? We'll pick Magnus. We've technically already picked Magnemite, so we can't pick Magnus. So, damn it! You know what? Probass. We'll pick Probass. You know what? We're gonna change the fairy typing. We're gonna... Now... Yeah, we will. We're gonna change this to Azurabille because I like Blue Chew, and we're gonna put Togetic here. Or Togekiss there. And for starters... Honestly, Empoleon. Like, Monferno's fine, but I kind of prefer Empoleon. And then of the Megas... kind of like Galdays, it emphasizes the arm blades more. Because again, Mega Lucario doesn't do too much different for Lucario. And then of our legendaries... There are so many legendaries I don't care about this gen. Probably Shaman. I'll say Shaman. And then overall, sorry, it's Lucario. Alright, Gen 5. I've never cared, don't like Unpheasant. It's not my bird of Gen 5. It's Braviary. Not Audino. Stoutland line. Like Stoutland line. It'd probably be the Stoutland line. Yeah, it's the Stoutland line. And then of the fire types... Oddly, it's probably Victini. I really like Victini. I like Victini as this cute little mythic Pokemon that gets to be different by being at the start of the decks. Instead of at the end. And you get to go on a little quest to pick him up and stuff when you first start Black and White. So he gets to be with... He kind of serves as like a secondary starter. Well, a tertiary starter, because your secondary starter is one of the 3 monkey friends. But yeah, Victini. Alright. I want to say Oshawott line. But its final evolution feels like the wrong direction to take the Oshawott line. I don't know why it's four-legged, but still has the whole pull out the sword thing. I don't know why. Samurott should have been on two legs, and it should have been a big samurai otter friend, instead of a four-legged kind of samurai friend. It feels like the wrong direction. The monkeys were neat. Tortuga, probably? But there's also Keldeo, which is my favorite of the three Musketeer Pokemon. Yes, I said 4 of the 3 Musketeer Pokemon, because it's 3 Musketeers and then it's the 1 kid friend. And honestly, yeah, I really like Keldeo out of the bunch. So yeah, it's Keldeo. I kind of like Seviper. It was my starter in Gen 5. Honestly, the Grass Monkey is the best of the 3 of them. But I also low-key like Deerling and Swasbuck in its different seasonal forms, especially the winter one. I really like the winter one. I think it's the best looking of the bunch. Honestly, it is Swasbuck. Hey, look, here's that spider Pokemon I really like, which is the electric one. But there's also Zipstrika, which was my electric type for Gen 5. And there's also Zekrom, which is my preferred box art legendary. But honestly, probably Zipstrika. And of the ice types, I like Beartic. I like that the idea of it gets like an ice beard. And I also like Cupchew. Cupchew's adorable. Oh, goody, fighting types. Fighting types in Gen 5. Slim pickings here. His temper's okay. Socket Thrower, fine, but they feel barely used. I could easily pick one of the 3 Musketeers here, and it feels like a good choice. I'll say I'll pick one of the 3 Musketeers. That feels like the best option here. It's always been my favorite. I liked your design. I forget your name offhand. Talk about poison types that I'm just like, on. Venipede, I guess. Just because of the mid-evolution. Drillbur. I like my big dumb drill. I love my mole that just turns into a drill. Because we'll talk about you in later. Flying type, it's Braviary. It's always Braviary. Braviary was my bird. It was the reason I picked black over white for Gen 5. Because he was the exclusive to black, Braviary was the exclusive to white. Therefore, it's Braviary. Psychic types. I've always liked Muna's line. And I'll be honest, I don't really care for anything else here. It's Excelgor. Also because in the anime there is a parody of a Kamen Rider, and his partner is an Excelgor. So it's Excelgor. Also, he just looks cool. I like Excelgor. Let's see, rock types. It'd probably be Boldor. Because I like Crustle, but I don't care for its evolution. And while I like Tortuga, that's more of a water type for me. It would be Boldor. And honestly, it is Golurk. It's the Golurk line. I love that in the anime, this is just treated as a super robot. It's just a giant mecha, because it has rocket feet and all that. It's just a mecha. So hell yeah, I want my Mecha Ghost. And then of the dragon types, it's probably Zekrom. Because Axie is fine, but I don't care for Haxorus. There's not a really other dragon that I care for that isn't one of the 3 legendaries. And Zekrom's honestly my favorite of the bunch. As much as I don't care for Zora Arc, Zora is one of my favorite Gen 5 designs. I like this little mischievous little fox friend. I also think it gets a really good, cool form. And Hisuian. So it is the Zora Arc line. Because you, would be my favorite steel type. Because, yeah, the options here. The gears, which is just, Magnemite, but gears, no. Durant, no. Genesect, no. Ferroseed, no. Exavalier, no. Drillbur, already picked you. I think I like you more. Although I think that is your pre-evolution. Isn't that? Yeah, that is your pre-evolution. I forgot it's Cottony to Scott. And then of the starters, probably the Viper, because Samurott should have went somewhere different. And Tepic's okay, but I prefer the Viper. And then it's Mega Arduino, or G-Max. Not Trubbish. Evolution of Trubbish. Honestly, I just like this G-Max just because it just throws a bunch of shit in there. And then of my legendaries... Zekrom. And then my favorite of the gen... Honestly, it's Zoroark. Gen 6. So we're just gonna go just on the Pokemon in the game. Which we're not off to a good start, because it's normal types, and it's just like, well, it's Furfrou, which, like, Furfrou's neat, but its main gimmick is, hey, look at all the forms you can make it, and that was about it. And I felt like I would like Leo more as a fire type. And I don't care for Diggersby. And Fletchling is also a fire type. I guess base Furfrou. Because unfortunately for fire type, it is Fletchinder. I like our Firebird here. I have a soft spot for Delphox because of Serena from Pokemon anime, because I liked her. And her starter was Fennekin, but it's Fletchinder. I would say not Greninja, but look at our options that aren't Megas. It is Barnacle. It is the pre-evolution of the horse of the other seahorse Pokemon that's not as good as Seadra, or as Horsey, Seadra, and Kingdra. And then it's Klotzer, and then it's that one mythic Pokemon that I have never seen the movie for and I don't care about. I'm sorry, it's Greninja. And also, Ghost types, look at our options here. It's the starter, it's Go-Goat, whose only real gimmick was, hey, you get to move and ride it in, like, one town, I think. Phantom, and Punkaboo. I don't like any of these options. Honestly, Treevamp. I like Treevamp. I like big scary tree friend. Didn't they? I've never cared for Telop. Oh god, the ice type choices. Ugh. I'm gonna say the fossil. It's honestly the fossil. Because I don't care for Bergamite. Lucha. Because Panchum's neat and Pangu's cool. But Lucha. 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 Really, this is our only poison type that is not a Mega? Jesus. I guess you, by default, because... Really? The only other ground type that wasn't Zygarde was Diggersby? In Gen 5? Gen 6? Damn. Damn, Gen 6 hurting for ground types. I guess Zygarde. Because I'm not gonna pick Diggersby. Flying types. We have certainly left ourselves with little options. Because it can't be you. It can't be you. And I feel like that's gonna be your Dragon type here in a little bit. So I guess Pavilion. Because I don't care for you at all. Pavilion. You know what? We'll at least pick a good version of Pavilion. I like you. Psychics. Honestly, it'd be Esper. I've always liked Esper. Of the psychic types of Gen 6. I'm trying to remember what I ran. I think I ran male? Yeah, I think I ran male Esper. I'm not female Esper. Although I like both. Really, is our only bug type Pavilion? It's not a mecha. Well, I guess we gotta pick in something else here. I guess Yveltal by default. And then it will be Pavilion over here by default. Rock type. Tyrantrum. Tyrantrum was the fossil I much preferred over, I forget this one's name, but Tyrantrum was my choice. I named it after Gabatira. It's Tyrantrum. I love big giant Rex friend. But it's just hard. Of the ghost types, it's easily Honedge. I like the that we just had a ghost sword. And I love that in its Pokedex entry, preempting the fact that everyone looking at this Pokemon would be like, yes, I get to wield it as a sword. It's just like, if you wield it as a sword, it will murder you. Immediately, it will possess you and murder your ass. Just as a, no, it's a bad thing to wield this as a sword. It is its own sword. It wields itself. And then Dragon. I like Goodra and I like Noibat. But I also like what they did with Zygrade in the anime. So I have soft spot for Zygrade, especially because of its like different forms and stuff. Especially its like final form. I'd say Zygrade. Wow, our dark types are very limited here. I'm gonna go with Ponchum's evolution. Oh god, right. The only steel types are Honedge and Klefki. Is there not another ghost type that would be good, that I would like? That I also haven't already picked? No. I guess it's Klefki by default. Also, yeah, you know what? I like Klefki. I like Klefki as just this dumb little keyring ghost. It just collects keys. There are a lot of fairy types. Probably because this is the... Was this the gen that introduced fairy types? Yes. Yeah, Gen 6 was the one that introduced fairy types. Yeah. That's why there's so many fairy types. It's honestly between Xerneas and Dionysi. I honestly prefer Dionysi. Oh, those two. I wish Xerneas was, like, its standard form was more like what we've seen, because this is its standard form. It's not all colored and stuff. Which is so weird that regular Xerneas, but it's not, like, charged up and stuff, is kind of boring. I also don't care for Sylveon. As an evolution. I'm gonna say Dionysi. It's Greninja. Ah, yes. All those Mega Evolutions. This is the gen with all the Mega Evolutions. They also introduced Mega Evolutions. You're honestly just asking me what my favorite Mega Evolution is. I would say Charizard X, but we've already picked Charizard X. So we can't pick that one. You also can't pick Mega Scizor, Mega Absol, or Mega Galde. We gotta pick something else. What is a Mega Division that I like that I haven't? That is a very hard choice, because I think I've picked all of my favorite Mega Evolutions. I guess Blastoise, because it tripled up. It got more guns, and got a bigger gun in the process. Honestly, Zygrade, also because that's its 100% form, and I like its 100% form. And out of everyone here, it's Greninja. I'm boring, I'm picking Greninja. Gen 7! Normal... I don't want to pick Toucan Sam, because it's probably going to end up being the Flying type one. But I don't know what else to pick. Because I'll be like, oh yeah, Gumshoes fits perfectly, but I'm like, the design... I wish the design was different. No. Reasons. We're not talking about those reasons. I don't want to get into the conversation about the reasons why Gumshoes design I wish was different. I just wish it was different. Throwing it out there. Just throwing that out in the ether. If you know why, you know why. I guess probably the koala. Because my mom likes koalas. And so do I. I like the sleepy buddy. It's Incineroar. There's nothing else here I really like that isn't Alolan Marowak. But I like Incineroar because he's the wrestling Pokemon. We're not counting Ash Greninja, even though I also really like Crash. How it probably is Primarina. Because as much as I like the Tapus, I like Primarina more. And none of these other water types hit it for me. Which leads us to the grass types. And it also is that same way where I'm like, I really like the Decidueye, and I really don't care for every other grass type in the game. And then electric types. Again, I like the Tapu. But it honestly is between Zerosa and Vikavolt. Because I like Zerosa's Mythic. I like the Mythic design for Zerosa. I also don't think I've ever seen the movie The Zerosa in. I just like its design. But I also kind of like Vikavolt. You know what? Zerosa. And now you're making me pick between my children. Now you're making me pick between my children. Because it's Ice version of one of my favorite ground types with Sandshrew and Sandslash, which perfectly hits home a Ice version of those two. And then it's Ice version of, again, one of the fire types I really like, because Gen 1 has no bad fire types that aren't Magnemite. They aren't Magmar. If I'm being honest, Magmar is probably the weakest fire type in Gen 1. Everything else hits it out of the park. They're all really good fire types. And again, it nails what a Ice type Vulpix and Ninetales should be. But I think I have to pick Sandslash. This technically counts as different, because we're going to count the forms different. So we're going to count the regional forms different. Fighting types. I've never cared for Crawballer. I kind of like the bear. I've never cared for either of the monkeys that were in Gen 7. I kind of like the dragon from Gen 7. I kind of like Marshadow. I feel like it's the bear. Yeah, it's Stuffle. It's Stuffle in its evolution. You know, I didn't know that the Ultra Beast here is technically a starter in its home dimension. And you know what? I kind of like that idea. And I think that kind of puts it over everything else here. Because I don't care for anything else. I feel like it's the horse. Because I kind of like the Sandcastle one, but it's the horse. It's the Warhorse. And then it's Toucan. Because honestly, the only other thing I like here is Minor. And you don't even really get a really cool looking Minor unless you take enough damage for it to burst open. So it's Toucan Sam. I want to just throw Nebby here and be done. Because my Nebby was Socleo. And it is the only... words. It is the only legendary I've ever purposely renamed. Because the storyline with... the story they did in Sun and Moon was really good. And it probably is my favorite game story in Pokemon. So I'm just gonna throw Nebby in here and call it a day. Of the bug types, it's honestly Vikavolt at that point. And then rock types, it's easily Lycanroc. I've always preferred the midday over the midnight. But I do like that it's technically not Twilight. I forget what the proper name for it is, but I just, in my head, it's Twilight. It is the Twilight version, because it's the in-between between the two. But it's Lycanroc. This is my dog Pokemon. Like, forever now. Of the ghost types, it's Mimikyu, because its design and its implementation is so goddamn strong. It is the best Pika clone ever. It is the best Pika clone. Because instead of trying to be another electric rodent, it actually is a Pokemon, a ghost Pokemon, that wanted to be Pikachu because it saw Pikachu was loved so much. So it was like, I'm gonna mimic Pikachu because then people will like me. And then depending on your interpretation, it is either very upset that people don't like it and takes its fucking vengeance out on you, or it tries really hard and fails. And is just a sad little friend. So, yeah. It's Mimikyu. It probably is Jumango in its evolutions, because other... The other thing is, like, Turtonator and... on Turtonator. Hello. How do you like my Pokemon favorites so far?
I feel like Gen 1 Electric, you picked wrong.
Oh, what should I have picked?
I'm one of those odd people that, I never really cared for Jolteon, but Electabuzz.
Fair. I think the problem is I don't use enough of those late game, like that late game, like, quartet of, like, Electabuzz, Magmar, Jinx, and, crap, who am I thinking of? What's the other one in that bunch? That's like fairly late game. Like right on. Like a lot of those like later game Pokemon, I often don't use that much because I have something else of that type in that slot, and I've always preferred those.
I could see that.
God, I don't like any of my dark type options for Gen 7. It's either Dark, Rattata, and Raticate, which I already don't care for, and those don't improve that. Smug Meowth and Persian, which probably would be the bunch, but again, it's not a strong preference. And then Psychedelic Grimer and Muck. Tie-Dye Grimer and Muck. I guess Smug Persian. And Smug Meowth. I also don't like any of my steel top options that I haven't already chosen. God damn it. Because I've already picked Sandslash. I've already picked Nebby. Melmetal? I like Melmetal. I guess. What's our fairy type options? The Tapus. I like the blue one. I forget its name. I'm just gonna pick Incineroar as the starter. Regional forms. That's Sandslash. Love these regional forms. Yeah, it's Sandslash. It's Nebby. It's Nebby forever. Nebby is the best legendary of Gen 7. I also know I'm not calling it Bisoglio. It's Nebby for me. If you played Moon, it's Lunala because it's Nebby. It's just how it is. And I'm just gonna say Nebby again because it'll forever be that. I guess this is a good stopping point since I am at Gen 8 and 9 now. Unless you want to help me pick the rest.
I'm good, actually.
Okay. Oh, no, that's not. At me? Copy the code. And I will save it for, like, Sunday. We'll come back to this Sunday. And I'll pick Gen 7, 8, and the other smaller categories. Let's see, where is my cord?
Not where you wanted it to be.
Yeah, it was not plugged into my PS4 controller because I had to... I used it on its own for Memory Heroes speedruns last night. I got new records in like 2/3 of the difficulties with 0-1.
Nice.
I believe it was a... It's a sub 3. I think it was a sub 3 on beginner. It was a sub 330 on the middle difficulty. I forget the name offhand. I didn't get a new record on the last one because I couldn't string together a good enough run. I don't think I can submit those runs because I didn't show the accelerator at the start of the run.
It shows it on the screen though when you're selecting the character.
Right, but I kept doing retry from menu when I felt the run was going bad.
If you're doing retry, then as long as you make sure you clip the accelerator at the beginning, then technically it's still
Valid.
because you're not changing the accelerators when you hit retry.
Well, fair. I was about to say, it's a pretty long clip to where the run is. Unfortunately, I think sometimes.
What I wound up doing, because I had that happen on one of them, and I actually just put in the comments where the run actually starts. That way it still has the accelerator viewed and then where the run actually starts.
Also, I was looking at the like Zero's records just to see like what they were doing different, to like figure out what I need to do to like improve my times. And I was looking at my marathon times. Did I mistime the end of my marathon times?
That's a good question.
Because I know in one of the notes it says, please stop the timer when the screen goes to black. And I'm pretty sure I didn't put in that note, because it's additional part of the note where I put what the times were for like beginning, like for the 3 difficulties. And I'm like, I don't think I put that in there. So I think I might have mistimed it, because I timed it on when like the last like wave complete thing came up. I think that's wrong.
I'd have to look and see.
It's the 0. I think it's the 011 that has that note on it.
I do know the anything goes one. The comment that is on that one actually kind of makes sense, especially after watching the run. I don't think you could pull it off any quicker with any of the other accelerators.
Which one did they use?
I forgot what it's called, but it's the attack and defense up one. And it does something else. But basically doubles kind of a little OP on the beginner at least. It's weird kind of deal.
Oh, it's the EX gauge permanent max and the RP gauge permanent max. Because it's the anything goes with double, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that one. That doesn't do attack and defense up. It's just those 2.
That wasn't what I saw then.
Unless there's a different anything goes. Run. That's the beginner. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. Oh wait, no, I was looking at the wrong one.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because I was like, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's by the book that's used in that one.
Okay.
The large attack up, small defense up, and small energy element acquisition down. I don't think you're going to get any better than that.
Yeah, I don't know why I was using the other one, because I was using a different one for my runs. And now looking at that one, I'm just like, yeah, no, that one makes more sense, because I'm like, the only other one that I think you could try something with, I think, is the attack up medium and the armor attack up small, to maybe make it at dealing with enemies with shields faster, but like, it's not enough to take that hit in base attack to get that small bit of getting through that shield faster.
Also, if you look at the one I submitted for Anything Goes, you'll see the note I made. And I just kept the whole thing.
If I can get to it.
I don't think the EX gauge and RP gauge permanent max is the right call either. Like, it probably is in terms of like you trying to use 0-1, because the quick change bursts can clear out rooms quick, but double I think is the better call.
Yeah.
Because as I was watching it, I'm like, wow, that actually is like super clean.
Alright, do I need to send stream to you, or am I picking up side stream?
Have you sent it to me?
Okay. We get... up on my end. I picked that correct one anyway. Why am I telling you to get my capture device? That makes no sense. No. Not how this works.
Well, that was a noise.
What?
Whatever just exploded in the background.
That noise?
Yes.
Oh, that's the wire to my phone scraping against the box of tools. Because it's one of those, like... I forget what it is. It's one of those, like... nylon corded cables. That you get off Amazon in like a 2-pack for like $5 or something. It's rubbing up against this tray I have of like my oh my god. Oh, sit. Don't know why you don't want to sit.
As you destroy your mic quality and try to tear everything up at the same time.
Yes. But it's a tray of like my calipers, a screwdriver, some other stuff I have on my desk for reasons. Because they haven't gone anywhere else.
Also, good to transition.
Alright then, I'll take the stream down. We'll be right back with Call Up for the Week, folks. Stay tuned.